Welcome, me landlubbers, to another episode of Nameless Seraphim Reviews. Let me tell ye a tale of adventure on the ocean of tabletop gaming. Once, many years ago, in a dark and barren corner of the UK Games Expo, a board game seller with one eye and a peg leg thrust a game into me hands with a grin and a wink. He told me that for the modest sum of 10 of our Queen's sterling pounds, this treasure chest of adventure could be mine. So, me hearties, I was persuaded to part with me hard-won gold and carried me bounty back to safe harbour where it stayed for the better part of 3 years gathering dust. For some reason, I'd assumed this was just another colourful budget kids game. Well, sewer pirates, I was wrong. Hat off to ye. If you haven't heard of this game before, don't worry. By the time I've finished this review, I think you'll probably want to add it to your collection. At a glance, there isn't much to recommend this game over various other worker placement style games available. It can officially be played by 2 players, but its gameplay is undeniably stronger the more players you can get around the table at once. Each player controls a crew of 4 pirates, sailing at the dark underworld of human sewers in search of hidden bounty. To prove you are the greatest pirate of them all, you have only to assemble the most impressive pile of treasure. Leftover takeaway, cans of food, and dolls to ransom back to their owners, yes, this did get dark quickly, are all there for the taking. Your crew will buy their way onto the 3 available ships by paying cards. The more cards paid, the more prestigious their position on the boat. Once one of the crew has taken the place of the captain, the ship will set sail on the controlling player's very next turn, and the pile of flotsam immediately ahead of the ship will be claimed by the crew. The captain will take the round bonus token and have their pick of 1 additional piece of booty. Then the next crewman will pick, and the next. If there is a 4th crewman, they take no bounty, but remain on the ship, advancing a further step along the deck ready for its next adventure. With this core mechanic alone, Sewer Pirates is already a game of close tactics and bluff, with all players vying for the position that will ensure the best cut of the treasure. But exactly what treasures should be prioritised may vary according to your strategy. Some treasures are worth points alone, however the most valuable prizes are often only worth points in combination with others. For example, canned food is among the most high scoring, but for each can to be worth points you must also have obtained a special can opener tile. Additionally, each of the 4 members of your crew will be from one of 6 species or tribes of pirate, which perplexingly but charmingly are not all rats at all, and each has its own special ability to assist you to victory. For example, cockroaches will pay 1 less card than normal to move on to a crew or captain space, whilst the mercantile raccoons will tax other players an additional card added to their owner's hand whenever they are passed by another player's crew. The crew are easily one of the most endearing elements of this game. In a standard game, the 4 tribes each crew is assembled from are drawn randomly from the possible 6, meaning that some tribes will not be represented in each game, and therefore the combinations of crew will vary with each game played. Each crew member is represented by these delightful characterful game pieces, which are surprisingly high-detailed and well-sculpted for board game pieces. As each crew member is activated 1 at a time and all are useful, you will have to prioritise which crew member can be used most effectively based on the game state on that particular turn. That's more or less all there is to the game. The payment mechanics and individual tribe bonuses will take a minute or 2 to wrap your head around, but despite being a game with tactical flexibility, it is relatively quick to learn. So I was surprised to note, as I started to write this review of Sewer Pirates, the age recommendation of 14 plus and the 30 to 60 minute playtime proudly printed on the box, which is one of a number of things about the game that leaves me scratching my head, despite it having cemented itself as a family favourite game within a couple of playthroughs. I've said often on the channel that age appropriateness of games is an individual parenting decision, but everything about this game, from the cute miniatures, the adventurous themed, to the heartwarming artwork by Marina Fahrenbach, suggests that this is a game with a family audience in mind. I feel strongly that a reasonably switched-on 11 or 12-year-old, especially one used to playing tabletop games, would get the hang of Sewer Pirates almost immediately and treasure its wacky theme and joyful characters. The only remotely complicated things about this game are the unique abilities of the tribes and the combinations in which treasures can be scored. The game is obviously aware of this, providing a simpler landlubber variant for new and younger players, but this comes at the cost of removing the individual tribe abilities, and in my view it could simply never be worth sacrificing one of the most interesting elements of the game to make it marginally simpler to learn. Additionally, the game supplies players with a help card for the tribe abilities, but unfortunately this might as well be written in hieroglyphics for all the help it has ever given me. This said, the regularity with which tribe abilities are used during play, and the fact that you will only use 4 at a time, means that within a couple of turns you probably won't need a help sheet. In fact, a help sheet giving a quick reference of the combinations of treasures would be far more useful and probably be referenced far more often. This is particularly the case as some of the treasure combinations are not as intuitive as you'd think. For example, a can opener can only open a single can, so for every can you retrieve, you will also need an individual can opener. Paradoxically, a single sachet of ketchup conveys bonus points to every French fry token, no matter how many French fries a player has collected. A help sheet to remind me that we live in a bizarre universe where can openers are a single-use commodity and sachets of ketchup are infinitely large would have been welcome, but the back page of the rulebook will have to do. And yet, as much as I can poke fun at the wacky combinations and ponder just what audience the producers of this game thought they were making it for, once my family opens the box and lays out the counters, all of this is forgotten. We jostle for position, curse our misfortune on the card draw, make mock threatening glances at our fellow players as our plans are thwarted by a well-placed crew member from another player, and all that other stuff just floats away. Somehow, Andreas Pelikan has created a game that is just a little pocket of bliss that would steal a smile from the mouth of even the saltiest of sea rats. Sewer pirates can be a little harder to find these days, but like the treasures of its theme, it can still be salvaged, hiding in the flotsam of the tabletop hobby, nestled away and waiting for a crew of scurvy vermin to recognise its true worth. For my part, I will walk the plank before I let you take my copy away from me. If you've made it this far through the video, I want to make a small request. One of the key goals of our channel is to showcase some of the great tabletop games out there that don't have the reputation of some of the bigger names, but are still great games in their own right. The Ticket to Rides and Zombicides of this world have earned their place on your shelf, but they get quite enough attention already. But we all have these games, the ones we have to persuade people to play because most people have never heard of them, but that perfectly capture a good night's gaming for us personally, for whatever reason. If you know such a game and think we should feature it on the channel, drop us a comment and let us know. It might take us time to get to it, but we'd love to try it out.
Until next time we see our work hard, play better, and take care out there. Arr.